Hello everybody, in this video we'll talk about the process of expediting cases through the National Visa Center, also known as NVC. As you know, many cases are currently stuck pending interviews at the embassies, so we'll share a few tips and also we'll share some of our success stories for you to be able to learn, get inspired, and stay motivated. So what are you waiting for? I'll see you on the other side. Hello YouTube family. In this video, we'll talk about the process of expediting cases through the National Visa Center. We're getting a lot of comments, questions, messages about cases, about families that are being separated. They are tired of waiting, and so we've been doing quite a few of these expedited cases, and I wanted to share with you our experience, a few tips, and some case studies to keep you motivated, because I know right now, with the separation and the anxiety of families, I think everybody needs a little bit of encouragement. So I'll share with you some of those tips and what to expect next. For those of you that are here for the first time, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Click that bell to be notified. You don't want to miss any of our videos. We try to produce videos at least once a week. And also give us a big like so that YouTube is going to be able to share that video with more people just like you. My name is Jacob Sapochnick, and I'm an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California, and we've been helping clients in all 50 states, helping them with all their visa issues, and I'm excited to make this video just for you. So let's jump right in. So as many of you know, I've been watching my videos and videos of other attorneys on YouTube. But there's a big problem right now where, because embassies are shut down right now, most embassies are shut down, and they are not taking routine case appointments. The NVC has been backlogged with cases. So while NVC is able to finish processing most of these applications, they're not able to send them to the actual embassy because the embassies are not open. In fact, in a recent discussion that I had with a few of the officers at NVC, they specifically said that they want to help. They want to be able to push cases forward, but sometimes it's just difficult for them because of the pushback from the embassies, specifically the posts that are overwhelmed and are overburdened with applications pending, like Islamabad and Mumbai and a few other embassies in Europe, and therefore it's very delicate for NVC to process those applications because they can't just open the floodgates and send all cases to the embassies that are not actually willing to accept them right now because they're not able to. And therefore, the only way to do so, what we've realized right now, is by trying to expedite cases for those families that potentially will qualify, and we'll talk about those qualifications in a second. So let's talk about the process itself in a nutshell for those people that are not familiar with the process. So as you know, when you file an application with a spouse, you start the petition with the USCIS first. You file Form I-130. That petition should be adjudicated within, currently it's about 8 to 11 months. So those of you that are watching right now and your case is stuck at the USCIS level, I'll make a separate video on that, how to expedite cases that are being stuck at the USCIS level. In this video, we're going to talk about what happens when the case is approved at the USCIS level. So let's say you waited the 8 months or the 10 months or whatever, and now the case is approved, you receive your approval notice, then the file is being sent to the NVC. When the case is finally released from USCIS and moved to the NVC, you get an email from them. You'll have to pay the affidavit of support fees, complete form DS-260 with all the attachments, all the documents, and when everything is done, your case will be documented qualified to be sent to the embassy for an interview. And typically what happens before COVID, the NVC will process that and contact the embassy so they'll be able to receive your file. But right now, because so many embassies are not accepting cases because they are not open or because they're not able to take interviews right now because of country conditions, NVC is actually being put in a position that they're just accumulating cases and piles of cases, and we're really concerned as to what's going to happen in the next few months because there's going to be a severe backlog. But at the same time, there are a lot of families that are suffering very long separation. There are issues with medical the U.S. citizen spouse is ill, there are issues with employment, devastating separation, years, sometimes more than 20 months, almost 2 years, people have been separated even before COVID, and now COVID is increasing it. So there are quite a few situations where people are no longer able to wait, and at that point it is important to try a process of expediting a case through the National Visa Center. So what does it mean in practice? So there's an email that NVC has created specifically for expedited requests. And it's very important to understand that before you try to do so, it is very important not to abuse that email, that process, because NVC will just ignore you if you're not using the correct requirements to be, or the right procedure to be able to expedite a case with the NVC. So the NVC created a process to allow certain applications to be expedited. They have an email address, NVC Expedite@state.gov. This is part of their public inquiry units. So whenever you submit an email to Expedite NVC@state.gov, there's an agent at the public inquiry unit that is assigned to each of these inquiries, and he's able to communicate. Now, whenever they determine that there's a substance or a foundation for the inquiry, that agent will actually be able to communicate back and ask maybe for more documents, or will give you inclination as to where the case is going. If you're sending them a request with no merit, with no substance, most likely you're just going to get a general email that's stating that your case cannot be expedited. So I caution you not to abuse this email address so it won't cause any implications on your case. Again, it shouldn't cause anything, but what I'm saying is that it's not, they're already overloaded with applications, so it's really important to follow the procedures, because again, this is something that NVC has created to be able to help us attorneys and the public to be able to move cases forward, the ones that actually need to be moved because they can't wait anymore. So let me give you an example of a case that we had, a few cases that we had recently where we were able to expedite those cases through the NVC. This is spousal CR1 cases. The first example we have is from the embassy in Islamabad, where we had the applicant, they tried themselves, I believe 4 times, and it was rejected. And then our office got involved. We submitted a petition to the NVC using the public inquiry format, as I described before. Again, the issue here was that the U.S. citizen spouse had a severe medical condition. It was severe to the point where we didn't know what's going to happen with that spouse based on the doctor's recommendation. She was ill with a terminal illness. And again, it's the fact that there was no time frame as to what's going to happen with the spouse. We focus more on how that person is suffering currently in the U.S., being separated from her spouse, not knowing what's going to happen to her and when it's going to happen to her. We had a lot of medical support, medical documentations. We had affidavits from family members to showing the impact of the separation. In addition to the fact that there was a medical condition, there was also almost 20 months separation between that particular family who were not able to see each other. And so we submitted that in a particular format where we have our organized brief, we have specific, make it short, to the point, with an exhibit showing the officer exactly where are each of the items we're trying to claim, why we need the expedite. And then within 4 days, we were assigned with a public inquiry officer who was communicating with our office to be able to get some more documents. At that point, we submitted those specific documents that the officer requested, nothing less, nothing more. Again, we know how their time is valuable. We know that they don't have all the resources, and that case was approved. Now that the case was recommended for expediting, the next step is to communicate with the U.S. Embassy to let them know that this case has been expedited and trying to get a slot for an interview. And this is a coordinated effort between the NVC and our office to be able to open a slot at the U.S. Embassy for an interview. So the idea behind an expedite is that now the case is going directly to the embassy for review, bypassing the wait time right now because it's been approved by NVC, and now the embassy is going to open an appointment to get this family member interviewed so they'll be able to get their immigrant visa and now travel back to the US. We have a similar example in the US Embassy in Madrid where we needed to use the NVC expedite process to move along a case. In the other example, it was a U.S. citizen spouse, severe risk to the U.S. citizen spouse business from essentially failing. There's going to be a loss of financial and strain on the U.S. citizen spouse. It causing medical issues as well, depression and all that. There was also a separation period beyond reasonable in that case too, and we were able to use that, and NVC was able to approve that, so the case is moving to the embassy for an interview. So again, it's really important to analyze the specifics of the reasons why we want to expedite, but I think it's important to understand that if we decide to expedite, it shouldn't, if they say no, it shouldn't impact negatively on your case, even if they refuse it. As long as you use, as long as you not abuse the system, as long as you're truthful, as long as you try it, and you show them that it's a genuine attempt to move the case in the process because you're generally suffering. So it does work. It's a good process, and I know a lot of you who are emailing us and trying to get consultations to understand how it works. If you do need that, we did set up a whole division in our office to work on these expedited cases. There is a link in the description of this video here to set up that meeting if you need to. And also we set up a specific membership program for people that are following us to be able to be informed on a regular basis as to what's happening with NVC cases, with embassies. This is done through our platform. It's a new platform. We call this Immigration U. You can become a member there, and we do weekly Zoom calls there just to update you on the different embassies, the different procedures, just like I'm doing right now, but in more depth on a more regular basis. So if you're going through the process of NVC, I-130, you're just starting the process, you should consider looking into Immigration U, because it will help you to stay in the know and almost have like a virtual community to support you as you go through the immigration process. So the link is in the comments right here. So hopefully this information was helpful. NVC Expedite does work when it's done correctly. And those families that were able to get those are now being able to get their interviews scheduled, so we're excited for them as well. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and I look forward to engaging with you as well. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, click that bell to be notified, and also give us that like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.